Hey everyone, Rabid Hedgehog here, and we want to thank our sponsors before the start of this video. Shout out to Law Tigers out there riding with us right now, but standing with us in the event of an accident. Need custom racing leathers or gear for the everyday ride? AGVSportUSA is here for that, and based out of Argyle, Texas, and serving riders nationwide. Also, we want to thank Doug Crawford, an independent AMSOIL dealer, for providing us with the fluids that keep our machines running well on into the future. Visit the description below for web links and contact details to get in touch with them today.
What's up, everybody? This is the redemption ride of the Pan America. Why is it the redemption ride? Because the first one I did, I only got to be like, 20 miles an hour. Well, it was 40, but yeah, nonetheless, slow. Very, very slow. Went in tunnel, do tunnel things. So at any rate, back on the back of the Pan America 1250 special. Got a lot of things happening here, and just like before, ergonomics are very different. Like I said, I don't know why they did it up top. I'm not a fan of that right now.
All right. Hang on. Let me interrupt this video for just a moment. Unfortunately, a sequence of events had happened where I rode the Pan America and the Sportster S before I went to the Livewire one. And the thing is what I'm talking about is look at the Livewire one's setup of its controls and ergonomics and how it operates. Notice that it uses the traditional Harley-Davidson controls that we have all become accustomed to, including the thumbsticks and everything, and its screens and everything have just as much adjustability as the Pan America. So this is why I cannot figure out for the life of me why they went to something so unglove friendly and so useless in my opinion. I know you can get used to it eventually, but they had a simple and clean design that was already working and functional, and they ignored it to try to do something special. At any rate, let's get back to the Pan America video.
That's going to take time for me to get used to those ergonomics, but I still think it's easier and more thumb control would have been more positive as a rider. It would have just been a little bit better than to have all this stuff on it. It's a little bit, cumbersome to use, especially when you're, on the road and stuff like that. You don't want to have anything cumbersome and have to take your eyes off. You want to make sure that the motorcycle is easy to do. Now, this thing has some good turnout. Motorcycle is actually very, very well balanced and very, very planted. It feels so low to sit in this thing for some reason. I don't know why. I am currently in rain mode, by the way. So you have the three modes, your rain, road, and sport. And then you have your couple of doodads that you can modify. You can see in front of me digital speedo and tachometer and all that good stuff, all that together. You have your digital gear indication and all that. All this controlled through the left grip. You see all the different options there, like settings, home, navigation, if you got everything plugged in, all that good stuff. Bike status, you can go through all that. The bike status has all that good stuff on it. And of course the home screen goes back there, all controlled there. And hit home and do it. You do have heated grips on this machine. You do have cruise control on this machine. You do have all that on the left side. You can see heated grips up there, and there's your trip odometers, all that's through there. So you can do all that control through the left side of the motorcycle. Actually being able to feel this thing lean in is a little bit like, wow, this thing has a turn angle on it. I'm actually impressed. Can actually get some speed on it. Use that engine braking a little bit. There we go, getting some good engine braking, get some feel back there, and yeah, that turn in, nice turning machine there. Go ahead and bump this into sport. Instantaneous change in response there. Wow, that's a difference maker there for sure. Woo! Woo! Nice ride. on that. Now, of course, this is that semi-active suspension. It does have electrical control. It does have a way to adjust it on the fly and everything like that on its own. It's basically electrical, and it's automatic, and it does what it wants to do. It's got some power to it. This 1250 Revolution Max has been absolutely astounding in my opinion. The transmission is a vast improvement over previous Harley-Davidsons. Being able to get up into highway speed, I can see at 6th gear we're at 4,300 RPM, roughly at 76 miles an hour. Did not realize I was going quite that fast. Back her down a little bit. 65 miles an hour comes at 3,900 RPM. So not a bad deal. This here machine is doing just fine. Riding nice and comfortably. And that's what it's designed for. Long range comfort and rideability. I still think it's ugly. Don't get me wrong, I still think it's ugly as sin. But it rides nice. I feel like I'm shorter on this one for some reason than the last one I rode. I feel something's like, maybe the risers are taller, or I mean something feels weird on this one. Like this one just feels different. I don't mind it. It rides very nicely. Like I said, the bar placement's a little awkward for me right now, but it feels good. Visibility out of the mirrors is fantastic. The wind, you can of course play a little bit with a manually adjustable shield and positioning and stuff, and it does a pretty good job in the position it's in right now. I don't really have any buffeting or anything weird going on up top of the helmet. You can see all the electrical controls going into the absorbers up front there. The fork, I should say, and then the back, of course, as well has them. But the big thing about these big adventure motorcycles is that they're supposed to be the all and all. Something that can go on the road and something that can transition to dirt without thinking. And to be honest, I think I can feel that in this thing, because we do have a little bit semi-knobbier tires on this one. The last one I rode had more of a street kind of component. So definitely different. So this engine and transmission package is fantastic. And I didn't really get to fully test the Pan America. Like I said, I liked it well enough at the time, despite it being kind of a weird, slow, methodical ride of sadness, you know. And this one here, being able to kind of rip, snort, and get away, makes this thing shine a little bit more. Braking is nice and balanced. I mean, like I said, I was not expecting it. Knees bent, down to the ground. Suspension is doing some adjustment right now. Can kind of feel it moving a little bit. Don't know what it's up to, but it's on automatic, so it's doing what it wants to do, and that's kind of fun. But it's really compliant. The suspension is doing rather well. This thing gets, man. I mean, that's the impressive part. It's such a heavy machine, but it has power. Oh, does it have power? It gets and gets and gets. Like I said, the turn-in is nice. Stand it up. Yeah, you can stand up nice and straight on it. Adjust your position that you need to while you're on it. Feels very stable even in the standing ovation. I'm impressed with that, man. It's nice. It went over those railroad tracks nice. It dives into this corner here nice. Push back, recovery, and back into the next turn is nice transition. This thing just, it has grip. Like, I need some turns. Because this thing has some grip. Fourth gear seems to be that happy medium, gives it a little bit more power band, but if you want to get to cruising, fifth gear when you're doing about 50-60 miles an hour. Sixth gear if you're really wanting to cruise, get the best gas mileage you can. I mean, this thing does a really good job in the turn. It just holds the line nicely. I'm able to do it at a reasonable speed this time. Unlike that last time, I got stuck behind people who had no idea what they were doing. This one here goes in. Of course, I got a car in front of me not helping me out. Oh, it likes to turn. It's got grip for days. You can just feel this thing really wanting to just rip into the road. And if it wasn't for this car up ahead, I can't figure out how to do life. Life would be a whole lot better. Of course, that's just my luck in Rabid Hedgehog land. I always get stuck behind something. But I'm still smiling this time. Last time I didn't really get a chance to really fill her out, but today, yeah. I mean, like I said, it just gets in there and it holds. We got that knobbier tire on it. It's just holding that line pretty nicely there, doing good. Let me go ahead and hop in here real quick. We're gonna let the cars go away for a moment. We're gonna check this thing out here. Really good power distribution on it. The engine is fantastic. Like I said, this thing grips for days. Clutch control. Let's see what we got going on here. Give me a moment on that. I'll get used to that. Not quite trusting myself in a full lock turn yet. Not too bad. I can do this a little bit better than the Sportster. Give me some time to do that. Got to get used to the way it feels. It feels kind of floppy, like it wants to fall over, because I'm not used to a lean angle like this on a Harley. So it has this like, I want to fall, and I'm like, no, you don't. You really don't. Oh, I found neutral. It's like, I want to fall. It's like, no, you really don't want to fall, buddy. Woo, false neutral. First one I experienced though, because you notice I went to third and it just bounced it instead of getting in there very well, and it revved it. So that's the first fault in the transmission I have felt so far. The Street 500 750, the Street 750 that I own personally, was always finding itself randomly in random gears versus where it needed to be. So if that's one time out of a million, then that will work. If it's even one time out of 5, that'll be even better than the Street 500. Let's be real, in Street 750s. But yeah, not bad. The seat is absolutely comfortable. Position is nice and comfy. Feet are nice and down, straight down, put onto the pegs where they need to be. Everything's riding well within respectable parameters. That was a huge bump. I hit that earlier on the Sportster and felt and so did my next generation or two felt that bump. This thing just boop, and didn't even care. Some good suspension there. That's some really good suspension. Like I said, transitions are sharp. It likes to get over. It likes to turn nice. The brakes bite perfectly, so we're good on the brakes. They bite nice and crisp, strong. I like how they made it tuned a little bit more tractory sounding than even the Sportster S, now I think about it. Because I was on that just a moment ago and it was a smoother running engine. This one has this unique clatter to it. It sounds more like a tractor. A little bit less refined, which I think is kind of fun. But man, she will stop. Yeah, it does really well. I mean, give me a moment on it to get used to kind of that long front end, and I could probably get this thing down in a really tight circle. Get those U-turns knocked out real well. I could already do it in definitely a 24-foot section and probably down to about 20, but give me some time, I can figure out a way to make this thing really get into the tight stuff. That's really helpful to have a motorcycle that balanced in such a condition, especially when it's supposed to be off-road. You want something that has a little bit more lean angle and stuff. And like I said, I feel so weird actually turning this thing because it doesn't feel like it should turn like that. It doesn't feel like it should be that easy, but it is, and that's great. All right, cruise control activation, and away we go. Little flimsy on the Blockbusters. They have a little quick detach right there, so if you pop it right, that'll come right out. The fit and finish needs a little work. Like I said, I can't figure the handlebar out if it's... It looks like it's been moved, because I feel like the other one was lower in a way. I haven't figured that out yet. This one feels like I gotta look over to see everything. Whereas the other one I could clearly see the Harley. When this one I'm far back, I can't see it over the bar anymore. But man, I mean, a first-year adventure bike from a company that's never made an adventure bike before. I have to say this is a valiant and good effort. And it's just not quite complete enough. I think ergonomics need to change. I'm not a fan of how much buttonage there is here. You know, trying to get everything squared away and all that good jazz and everything like that. You want to be able to have control, yes, but I think it could have been done so in a different way, where you could have had maybe one button do it, thumbstick it, click in the thumbstick, and that way you can just keep your eyes mostly on the road instead of trying to feel tactile where this is. Because there's no feeling it tactile through gloves. Like, there's nothing there. Like, you're going to hit that hearts point first before you find where the scroll is, right? You're going to hit some things before you get there. Or they really need to work on that ergonomic, whereas in a glove, you can feel the single button press you need, you can feel the joystick doing what it needs to do, and you can feel it click in. And I mean, the thing is that Harley's own touring models already use thumbsticks. I mean, why didn't they just bring that over to this range? I don't see any excuse for that to have existed. That's just my opinion of that matter, that I think that the ergonomics really could use some work. Because I just do not believe they're right. I do not believe that they got that package right. I really believe that they could have come up with a single hand solution, not all this mess over here. They could have put traction control, they could have put everything on one side and made it work. They could have done a lot better. And you know, they could have even found a spot to put an electric window with all the other things they got on there. But that's the thing, like I said, this is a first year effort from a company who's never tried. And I have to give them props for it, because it honestly rides rather well. It honestly feels like a good, solid motorcycle ride. It leans in well, it tracks well, it has an unbelievably interesting lean angle. Like, I am so still trying to find my balance on this thing. Like, it feels a little top heavy-ish, and maybe for an adventurer that's probably not the best of ideas, but you know, it's still light and nimble and easy to track, that it works just fine in that respect. So in my opinion, this isn't a bad machine at all. I really think Harley has come a long way in listening to the riders and what we believe, what we think, what we're looking for, and they did good on this one for the most part, except for some ergonomic takeaway problems and you know, aesthetic things. And the thing is aesthetics is aesthetics, and that's going to be to the eye of the beholder. But when this thing could just go through this horrible rutted road, bouncing around out here, and do it in just comfort and ease and wonderfulness, then they've got something right going on, because a Harley never does that. So at any rate, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, and this is the more spirited away ride of the wonderful little Pan America. I actually rather enjoy it. I like its character, I like the way it does things. I just wish that controls would have been a little bit more well placed. At any rate, keep that shiny side up, folks, and we'll catch you on the next ride.